What's up everybody, Ian here for Cult of Mac, and now that we're partway through the summer, we're fully into mid-beta season. I've gone into it, I have it on my phone now, I have it on my iPad, and with that I thought it would be the perfect time to keep diving into our iOS 13 and iPadOS 13 features. This week taking a look at CarPlay, which received some minor updates. Now Apple did spend a little bit of time at WWDC talking about CarPlay on iOS, or on the iPhone specifically, and how there are some changes coming to CarPlay this year to make it more visually appealing. You know, they talked about the new dark mode versus light mode thing and the option to switch that back and forth, as well as some other minor changes, but I wanted to see really how the experience of CarPlay or iPhone in the car has changed with iOS 13, because it really hasn't seen any meaningful changes since it was introduced several years ago. And as a quick reminder, if you have anything you want me to take a look at in iOS 13 or in iPadOS or maybe even watchOS at some point this summer, let me know in the comments down below and I'll do my best to try to look at some of those features as I can. Now iOS 13, there are some changes to the look of CarPlay, most notably the new light interface, which just gives everything a nice whitewash, makes it a little brighter, which is super cool. The new dashboard in CarPlay is kind of one of the big changes in iOS 13, and it's the main thing that is going to change your CarPlay experience kind of just in your regular day-to-day use. This new dashboard gives you access to a couple of really key features, most notably quick directions to either home or work or some type of point of interest that you frequent, as well as quick access to the now playing information, both with a icon to show you what is currently playing, and then a quick seek forward and play pause button to allow you to quickly start or stop whatever you're listening to if you need to for whatever reason. And then on the other side of the CarPlay interface is a half-screen map. This is super cool because it kind of gives you an idea of where you are in relation to other things as well as other points of interest, which makes it really easy to use the single dashboard interface kind of as your everything you need interface instead of having to bounce between the Maps app and your Now Playing app. It's also worth noting that the new dashboard map only works with Apple Maps, so sorry Google Maps and Waze users. Now that suggestions area is powered by the new Calendar app. The new Calendar app basically allows you to access different appointments you might have in your calendar and just tap on them and get directions to those events or those locations if the calendar event has a location with it. Now the suggestions interface on the dashboard can be toggled on and off in the new settings app, but if you have it turned on and you have calendar events coming up, it will give you those as options to tap in on and get directions to very quickly, very easily. The CarPlay Music app in iOS 13 also saw some minor changes, mostly visual, making things a little more bubbly and polished looking, and a lot more album art exposed in the application. This also makes it really easy to get into like most recently played or most recently added music, or some of those personalized for you playlists in Apple Music. Because the album art is right there on those main screens, you don't have to tap in to a section and then a subsection and then choose the album or the playlist you want to play. Instead, you can just tap into a section and say, I want to play my favorites mix or my new music mix, and just tap on that right there and it'll jump right into playing whatever it is you wanted to listen to. App interactions in CarPlay are also slightly changed. Instead of always relying on Siri first and then giving you the option to do something else second, they've kind of flipped that. So now opening an app like Messages or Phone will take you to your favorites or your most recent messages. Instead of taking you to the Siri interface, making you make a request, now you can tap on the person and jump right into the message. The Maps app also has some of this added to it now, with the ability to actually type in directions instead of requesting Siri do it for those really obscure addresses or something that maybe Siri wouldn't understand quite right. You can now type it in. Now again, I recommend only doing this if you're not moving. It's not safe to be typing on a screen while you're driving, but it is there as something that allows you to quickly search for something, whether it's a type of destination or a specific address within the Maps app. Speaking of Siri, in iOS 13's CarPlay, Siri can now be summoned through the car speakers on some models of cars by just saying, "Hey Siri," and start making your request through the CarPlay system, all by voice, meaning you don't have to do anything, take your hands off the wheel to invoke Siri to do whatever it is that you need to do or make whatever request it is you need to make. The actual Siri interface also changed a little bit. Now instead of taking over the entirety of the screen, Siri kind of just floats along the bottom, meaning that it's not going to take over your map or your Now Playing screen, but instead is going to just be tucked down kind of near the bottom to allow you to see that it's there and it's listening if that's something you need. Another new feature of CarPlay in iOS 13 is the way it works when your iPhone is plugged into the car and you're trying to interact with the two devices discreetly. Now, as an obligatory reminder, using your phone while you're driving is very unsafe, So let's assume, for the sake of this discussion, that it's the passenger using the phone while you're driving. Previous to iOS 13, using your phone would also interact with the CarPlay interface. So if you had messages open on your phone, messages was open on the CarPlay interface. In iOS 13, that's no longer the case. Now instead, whatever is up on CarPlay stays up on CarPlay, regardless of what app is open on your phone. So opening messages on your phone can leave maps up or music up or your podcast player up on CarPlay, allowing you to know where you're going or what you're doing and see that interface regardless of what's happening on your device separately. All in all, these changes to CarPlay are super nice, although super minimal in a bunch of ways. They make CarPlay just an overall better experience, especially if you spend a lot of time in the car for work, for commuting, for travel, whatever it is. Having CarPlay available to you and knowing that it's constantly getting worked on and updated and that Apple's putting effort into it is really kind of a comforting experience to know that even as the car ages and your infotainment system ages, at least having CarPlay means you'll have an experience that stays fresh and stays modern. Let me know what you think of the changes to CarPlay in the comments down below, or tell me any other features you want me to take a look at in our next videos. Also, give the video a thumbs up if you're excited to see these changes to CarPlay. Give it a thumbs down if CarPlay is really not for you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any new videos as they come out. I'm Ian for Cult of Mac, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.